Hello, everybody. I'm Johnny Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Very good to see you all here. A lot of you are going to know who I am. A lot of you are not, because Tommy in the lifeboat is growing like a bad fungus. So if somebody here, they're like, who is this dude who sort of looks like a bit more handsome than Tommy Scoville? I am Johnny Scoville. I am Tommy's more handsome older brother. And I run a channel called Chase the Heat, where I eat hot stuff and torture myself for your enjoyment. I'm a masochist with a following of sadists. It's a perfect blend. Anyway, I am a sober man. I'm sober from everything, like just about everything. You know, a lot of the real new designer modern stuff, I didn't dabble in, but everything else I either abused or was addicted to. And I am a sober man. About 14 sober years from hard stuff, and excuse me, about almost 5 years. In April, it'll be 5 years from alcohol. So I am excited about all of that. Hello, everybody. I'm going to try to say hi to everybody, but listen, here's the deal. I'd rather just talk, and sometimes when I look for just names, I miss a lot of good stuff and end up not talking and not delivering any sort of a message. I have some exciting stuff to tell you about. Hunter Haas, good to see you. Russ Hampton, good to see you. Hi, Shannon Smith. Care Bear Gratitude. Hi, Doc. Rose K. Zena Turner. Good to see you. Joni Cummings and Rose K. And, of course, Davey. All right. Hope Between the Dreams is here as well. I had a great day today. I got some crazy things that happened today. Now, I'm going to tease you. I just got permission, sort of. So here's the deal. Some of you may know, like, my channel is about chilies, and I fell into a lot of luck. I had no intention of being a YouTuber. Started a channel, and it just kind of grew, and just really amazing things sort of happened. I didn't start a channel to become rich or famous. I didn't care about either of those things at all. And the good thing about that is, if you start a channel to get rich and famous, you aren't really going to get any of those fast enough to keep you going. Keep you motivated. Most people won't be willing to work 2 or 3 years for free with hopes that maybe down the road you'll make it. You know what I mean? But I was only doing it for fun. So I didn't care whether I was famous or making any money. But so while I just kept my head down making movies along the way, really crazy things happened. Got to go around the world a few times. There's people flying me around because I eat peppers. Whoever thought? You know, and then I ended up getting on a Netflix special, which was kind of crazy. It's called We Are the Champions. I jumped out of an airplane. And if you hadn't seen that, it's kind of a good episode. I jumped out of an airplane and ate 10 Carolina Reapers. It used to be considered a hot pepper. But I ate 10. It's still a hot pepper, but they're a lot hotter. And I jumped out of a plane and ate 10 Carolina Reapers while skydiving. And that made it in that episode. I just kept doing my thing. You know, the pandemic came along. I quit drinking 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And then I got approached right at the same time we were finishing the Netflix special. A company approached me to do at the time, I don't know if it was a reality show or if it was just, or what it was, but they contacted me wanting to do a documentary or something. At the time I said, yes, I'm all about it. Let's do this. And it just kind of fell apart. And listen, I'm like, I don't chase anybody. I'm not that guy. I don't chase anybody. I don't chase anything. And when they stopped calling, so what? I just kept my head down making videos. A couple of years went by, and then I get a call about a year and a half ago. They said, remember me? Excuse me. My contact was AJ. I said, yeah, I remember you, AJ. She said, remember that deal we were talking about? I said, yeah. She goes, you still interested? I said, yeah. She said, well, Hulu bought it. I went, you're kidding me. And they said, no. So I said that initially, there's a reason I'm telling you the story. Initially, I was only going to be in 2 scenes. They said, we're going to fly you down to Dallas for Dallas Zest Fest. And I said, fine, let's do that. Now, you guys have seen Tommy. Tommy's a star. He's a rock star. And he has sat in front of a camera like this for a long time. I have sat in front of a camera a lot longer. And I've been doing this forever, for like 8 years. So I'm really, really accustomed, really comfortable being in front of the camera. So, but I was really excited about it. 2 days of working on this deal. So I went down there, and after the first day of filming, one of the producers texted me on the way to the back to the hotel. And he said, Johnny, we're going to lean into you a lot more in this project than we initially thought. Are you okay with that? And I said, yeah, sure. No problem at all. Well, I had no idea what he meant when he said we're going to lean into you a little more. I would have said yes had I, either way. But turns out that I kind of end up weaving my way in and out of every episode, and the whole show is about me going on kind of a quest to find the hottest pepper. The reason I'm telling you this story, I was approached by one of the major, I was going to say American, but they're nationwide. They're global, excuse me. Major fast food chain. And they spoke and they said, hey, we kind of liked you. We want to do some commercials. I said, you're kidding. I'm going to tell you what they said. This is a really cool story. I got permission. I just got permission literally 7 minutes ago. Can't tell you the name. Not gonna. Okay. Can't tell you the genre really. But I'm going to tease you a little bit about it because I can. So here's the deal. She said, this is what happened. Will you do a video chat with me? I said, of course. So she doesn't know this. I probably won't be watching. However, the day that this happened, I was sitting here doing a face-to-face Skype with this person who's in charge of the media. And right off camera, right here, was my business partner, David Foy. And so he got a chance to see this whole meeting happen. He just saw me and her. He saw me and I saw her. Anyway, so she said, we loved what you did in Netflix. The skydive thing was awesome. She said, we'd like you to do some commercials for us. I went, you're kidding. And this is a video chat. She said, no. I said, wow. And this, I swear to you, I give you my word, this is what she said. She said, have you had any, because we love the skydive thing, but we couldn't ask you to do that. But do you have any crazy stunts that you've wanted to do that maybe you didn't do because they were out of your range financially? That's exactly how she said it. I went, are you kidding? Get a pen. Seriously, get a pen. She goes, you got a couple? I said, sure. She was like, what? I said, right now. I can rattle off a handful right now. So she was, well, tell me a couple. So one of them was, I'm going to tell you what it was. One of them was the vomit comet. In the first episode of season, in the first season of Super Hot, one of the things we entertained the thought of doing was me eating peppers in weightlessness. And we were this close to doing it. And if you don't know what the vomit comet is, it's a big plane. I don't know if it's a 727 or 737, but it's in Vegas and it's hollowed out and it's padded. There's like 3 or 4 rows of seats very up front, and the rest of the plane is empty, just padded and hollow. And what this plane does is it goes up to like 55,000 feet, which is 25,000 feet higher than commercial airplanes. And it goes into a series of parabolic dives. Did you guys ever see the movie Apollo 13? Okay, well, they didn't go to space. It would be a $7 trillion movie. They didn't go to space. All those weightless scenes were done in this plane, the vomit comet. Because when it goes into a dive for about a minute, you're weightless and you just float. And the reason they call it a vomit comet is if you do it a couple times, it's not a big deal. But if you do it for a prolonged period of time, you're going to chunder, is the story. So anyway, I was really going to do this with a show, but it was expensive as can be. It's like $8,000 a person. For like a 3-hour flight, you get like 60 minutes of free of weightlessness. But the problem is they were going to, get 2 film guys, or 2 camera guys, a lighting guy. And the other thing is they didn't want anybody else in the plane but me. So that was going to be super expensive. So Hulu scratched that off the list. It never happened. So I said, how cool would that be? And she said, that's a cool one. And I thought of a couple other good ones that I told her about that were really, really cool. And when I said that, she was like, well, that's not a problem. So money is not an issue here. Okay. This is a big company and they like me, which is really, really cool. So we're going to do a deal. We're going to do something. I kind of know. I kind of have an idea of what we're going to do. Here's the coolest thing. She says, every idea they got, I gave them. They're like, what would you like to do? So I sat down and I wrote them 8 really. I'll give you a hint. One of them is a wingsuit deal where I wingsuit. I jump off of the side of a mountain and wingsuit down into a parking lot for the express reason of arriving at said chain. So I got a couple of really spectacular ideas, and and every one of them, yeah, sure. I mean, they loved every one of them. Not one did they go, I don't know. There was one, listen to this. One of them is one of the things that I've wanted to do for a long time, but my business partner has put the kibosh on it. In the Bahamas, there's a place where you can swim with the sharks. All right. I don't mean in like a cage, and I don't mean like sand sharks. I mean, you're swimming with great whites, no cage. And the reason for this is for 3 generations, they've been hand feeding these sharks. And listen, Christiana, you're so cute. I'm not a brave dude. Everybody says that. I'm just not scared of dying. At any rate, they have these great white sharks, and they've been hand feeding them for 3 generations. So it's like at 1 o'clock, the sharks show up, put a little, napkin. They got a fork and knife. They're ready. They know food's coming. It's a deal. It's a gig. They got a gig going. So you show up, you jump. So I thought it would be a very, very cool thing to jump into water with a pepper and eat a pepper, like face to face. Like I'll feed a great white shark a dead fish and I'll eat a pepper at the same time. That would have been an epic video. I mean, seriously, would that not have been a cool video? My business partner was like, nah, nope, you're not doing it. They were like, yeah, we love it. So I got a good thing going here. So if you guys have any ideas of any bizarre, I can't tell you this, like what it is. I can't tell you the kind of chain. Okay. So some of the ideas you might toss out could be good. Some may not be. But if you have any crazy ideas that you think would be good, I've already given you a couple, like swim with sharks. The wingsuit would be a great idea. Wingsuit is something I've really always wanted to do because I think I'd be really good at it. I don't know why. It could be all in my head. I may be bad at it. I may be like, it was funny. I was talking to Tommy last night about it because I've been going back and forth with Tommy. I'm like, Tommy, we need this wingsuit. And he's like, no, I know Tommy. If I park him in front of a video watching wingsuit in 20 minutes, he's like, we need the wingsuit. I know him, but he knows me. And he's like, well, I start to sell it to him easy. I'm like, well, look, here's the deal. You aren't going to like hug a mountain and go down a ravine day one. We jump out of a plane, 3 miles up, 2.5 miles up over nothing. And you just learn, you go one way for a half a mile, you do a turn and you go back and then you kind of get used to it. But so Tommy says, well, here's the problem with that. You can't really know when you're turning like this. There's nothing around you. You can't, it's not like if there's a tree here and you're turning like there's turning, that. So what ends up happening is you're like, well, I got an idea. Let's get just a little closer to the mountain, just so we can get a gauge how, next thing you know, you're going down ravines, you're going through over trees and ducking through. And he's worried about that. So last night we were talking about this. I said to him, it's not that hard. I said, because he skydived with me. I'm like, I know he's just like me. We're very, very comfortable in the air. If you think, check out the skydives I did for my channel. I'm really comfortable in the air. I mean, I was able to eat peppers and there's a lot of things going on. And we did one take. So I was talking to him last night and I said to him, I had a video on my phone of this dude going through. It's like the eye of a needle, but it's not like a little gap. It's a huge hole. And he's wingsuiting down and he flies through the middle of the hole. And it's not like, listen, it's spooky just because you're very, very, very fast and you're wingsuiting and there's rocks, but it wasn't like going through like a 2-meter gap. And I said to him, this is fun. Look at this. This would be cool. And he said, that's what Stryker said. I laughed for 10 minutes. Some of you aren't going to get that, but there's some people in the chat that are going to hear that and laugh their skull off. That's what Stryker thought. Does anybody know where that reference came from? Please, because that was so funny to me. Stephen Lesky, you're on my mind, bro. If you haven't seen it, it's from a Family Guy episode. Stryker Fox, they go wingsuiting, and he tries to thread the needle and just misses it 6 feet to the left and strikes the wall. And that's what he was referencing. But the wingsuit is one of the things that I want to do. And you know what? They were like None of the reservations that my business partner has at all. Not one. I even had an idea. This is another one of my ideas. Piranhas. Here's the deal about piranhas. Everybody thinks that piranhas are just these vicious animals that are gonna, you stick your finger and you're gonna pull out a skeleton, you just see bone. It's not like that, okay? The way the way piranhas are dangerous are in the dry season when they have pools where rivers dries up. This pool of like 500 fish. Well, anything that wanders in there is in trouble. But typically, it's not a dangerous fish. Honestly, I'm being serious now. I had 3 red belly piranhas as in a tank when I was in college, and when they were not, this is the truth, when they were not feeding, I could put my hand in and rub their bellies, and that's not even a joke. But when they were feeding, like when they were hungry and they were feeding, you wouldn't even want to think about it. But they really are a passive fish unless they're eating. So I had a great idea, and this really is a great idea, of getting a fish tank of very, very well-fed piranhas. And I mean 1,000 of them. 1,000. You know, like the fish tank where they take the ball and they throw it, and if it hits it, you dunk a dunking tank? One of those that's glass with like 1,000 red belly piranhas in there. And get in there and eat something in there. It's not something I'd be scared of. Here's the thing. It's scary for people, but it wouldn't be scary for me. One thing I wouldn't do, and nobody mentioned it, is bees. I don't do bees. Bees are spooky. Not a fan of bees. I wouldn't do that. But anyway, that's what my day has been. Tomorrow morning at 7:20, I've got a meeting with them to talk about how we're going to do this. And it's really, really exciting. So kind of how I want to start. But you know what? And this is the truth of it. None of these things at all would be happening if I was still in active addiction. I promise you that. And that's the truth. It is the connections. It really is. Proof that, it's really funny. It's funny. If somebody that has never been down that road gets in front of you and talks, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Listen, I've been there, honest to God. And I know personally in my own life, and it starts really slowly. It starts really slow. Even if you start drinking a little bit, you start going to the bar more often, you'll start, some people would have a problem with that. So you'd stop talking about, you maybe just reroute your life so you don't have to bump into them, because they're going to find out what you've been doing more of. I've been calling you 3 days in a row. Where you been? You know what I mean? So what happens is the deeper into whatever you're into you get, the more you start isolating and cutting off. So by the time you're in an active, full-blown addiction, which I have been in a host of them, what ends up happening is whether you realize it or not, you don't realize it. But what you do is you literally push away all the good things that are in your life away from you. And that's what happens. And that's the worst thing in the world. And it's funny. You think about it. It's before you've ever done a drug, it's like that. Before anybody ever did a substance, it's like that. Because when you're a kid, when you're a 6th grader or a 5th grader, and you have a crappy day at school, when you come home, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe tell me if you're different. If I had a really bad day at school, I didn't come home and say, hey, Mom, listen, I got to tell you what happened today. This kid bullied the crap out of me at the bus stop, pushed me around, slapped me a few times. I'm scared to death to go to school tomorrow. You didn't do that. You know what you did? Bury it down. You don't want to talk about it. You bury it down. You have a problem. You bury it down. That was me. And that's why this works. Honestly, you can get on here and talk about TV, a reality show. You can talk about peppers, what your favorite movie is, what's your favorite one-hit wonder, what's the famous quote in history that was misquoted. Doesn't matter what we talk about. Here's the truth of it. It's this. It's over on this side from where my comments are. Because here's what's happening. Do you understand? Here's the funny thing that happens. When a chat is happening, I've had the chance. I've been a content creator for 8 years now. So a million times I've sat behind this mic and I've done this, but I live on YouTube. So a million times I've been sitting here watching, and a million times I've chat. And what happens inevitably, this isn't anything bad. This is a beautiful thing. This is the reason it works. I could be up here talking about basket weaving, but people in the chat are talking about completely different stuff. But you know what all that stuff is? Somebody could look at that and go, well, they're not paying attention. I look at that and go, that's connections. Are you kidding me? They're squirreling off of something I said, and they're linking up. They're making a connection. Something happened to them that's happened to somebody else. Izzy experienced something that ZW experienced, and even has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And even if it's completely counter to what I'm talking about, they're off topic. The connection is happening, and the reason I know this is because my channel is about all things spicy. It's about hot stuff. It's about eating hot stuff and burning yourself. And for the first 3 years of my channel, I was drinking. Like Lemmy Kilmister. I was drinking a lot. I was just drinking all the time. I didn't have a boss. I was just drinking. That's what I did. I drank all the time. I got to a point where I just didn't want to drink anymore. And when I stopped, you know what? The opposite of addiction is what? Not sobriety, it's connections, right? Well, the day that I said, you know what, that's it, I'm going to quit drinking, I had 45,000 subscribers on my channel. Now, whether I was telling them in those days, hey, guess what, you guys? I haven't told everybody yet, but I quit drinking. Whether I told them that or not, the connection was still here every day. So when I quit drinking, I had the advantage of 45,000 connections. People, whether they were talking about peppers or not, I had people every day saying, wow, I can't believe you can eat that pepper. You're amazing. I got so much out of this video. I don't know why, but thank you. If you're trying to quit, that gave me so much. That helped so much. You know what I mean? So then at the 1 year mark, right? At the 1 year mark, because I didn't tell anybody that for the whole first year, I just shut my mouth. I wasn't talking about the fact that I had quit drinking. Told my kids day one, told my mother, told my dad, told my brother. All the morning I decided to quit. April 10th, I think, or April 14th. I always forget the day wrong. But on the 1 year anniversary, I did a video and I told everybody. I never said, you know what, you guys, listen, really helped me. I fell in love. Business is great. Everything is better in my life. The channel, instead of doing this, the channel is now doing this. And everything is better because I quit drinking. And listen, I don't want to be a jerk, but I think if you drink, maybe you should stop drinking too. I didn't do that. I am not that dude. Listen, there are cats out there that operate that way. I'm not one of those. I'm like Tommy. I'm not anti-drug. I'm not even anti-alcohol. I'm anti-addiction, right? And that's very much the truth. So even though I didn't say to everybody, probably ought to quit drinking, because I'm not that guy. You're never going to hear me say that. Even people that I'm in their five, when they call me, I don't say that. I listen more than I do anything, right? But even though I never said that, because of this, what I was just talking about, it's funny. I can just pick a comment and read. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but it's connection. And it's the reason people show up here. Part of it is the talk, but part of it is that we have this connection. And whether man, I'll tell you what, some of you will be here. I think it was probably yesterday, the day before. I did an interview with WGUN Channel 9 in Tucson about the reality show. And she was asking me what my favorite part about doing this whole thing. And what she didn't mean the whole thing as in the reality show, or what she meant was my career on YouTube and doing what I'm doing. And I was talking to her saying, well, I've had people that have, the first time I met them, they had a 4-year-old kid with them. And now the kid's 9 years old, or people that watched me when they were in 8th grade. Now they're in college. And she looked at me, she went, oh, connections. I went, it's the truth, connections, because this is an easier connection than walking into a building where all the seats are in a circle, or you're in a seats like this and there's one seat up front and there's a bunch of people sitting nervous doing one of these, and everybody looks like they're getting ready to get a bad report from a doctor, or like, you know what I mean? They're in like a waiting room, like waiting the results, and it's their turn. And you got to get up and you walk in front and say, hey, listen, I'm Johnny and I'm a junkie. That's a hard thing to do. Is it not? I mean, is it not? Especially because here's the thing. You're not going to drive 100 miles out of your town, to sit down. You're not going to drive 100 miles away from your town to find a meeting. Maybe you will. But I don't think people are going to drive to a different town or a different zip code to get a meeting where they won't have to worry about who might see them. But here, a million times here, I've seen people say, man, I've been here. I've been lurking for a week. But Today's the third day I haven't drank. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. Anyway, I've been talking enough. I'm going to answer questions and talk about what you guys are saying. Here we go. Zena Turner says, next time I walk in a room, I'm going to say the word for word. Say that word for word, including the I'm Johnny part. You know what I mean, though? Do you know what I mean? I have done that meeting. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather gargle gasoline than do that. And I'm a guy, I love talking in front of a crowd. You know, talking in front of a crowd scares the pants off of some people. The bigger the room, the better I do. And it's weird. There's something, there's something wrong. But even me loves talking in front of a big room. The idea of doing that, I'd rather get a root canal. You know what I mean? But here, you have the anonymity. You can make any name you want. You can make any picture, any icon you want, avatar, whatever. And you can come here and you can be honest in such a way. And here's the good thing about that. The most important thing about sobriety is honesty. It's a trip because I don't care how good a person you are. We're all good people. But when we're in an addiction, we're all lying people. We're lying. And the best part to me about being sober is I lied. Nobody. That is not a joke. And coming here when nobody sees you, nobody knows your name, your real name. Some people put their real names in. Some people, you see me like, hey, I'm Johnny Scoville and I'm a junkie. Don't be, I don't want anyone to be, please, if what I just said offended you, because please accept my apology. I don't mean that to you, but that's how I am. I'm different with me. I own my stuff differently than maybe some other people own their stuff. And I'm not saying you got to own it the way I own mine, but I don't want to throw sugar on it. It is what it is. It is what it is. JD says it feels so freeing not to lie. Where was that? Where is that? It feels so freeing not to lie. It leaves a lot of room for growth in the brain. It's amazing. It's true. All right. So, whoops, sorry. Shelly Cap says the lifeboat, 8 chances of side by side of Tommy, Johnny, and Christopher Maloney on the new Law and Order Major Crimes. You know what? My mom has said forever that I look like Chris Maloney. I've been told that a lot. But here's the thing, and this is what everybody doesn't realize. Every single one of you looks like somebody else. But some of you may not have a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel and enough people look at you, they're going to give you a list of the people that you look like. And when you look at the pictures, they're like, geez, I look like that dude. It's amazing. Like there's a dude, one of the most shocking. I was showing my mom a whole, like scroll after scroll, people that have sent pictures of people that say they look like me. One of them is a astrophysicist. I think he's an astrophysicist named Leonard Susskind. Boy, oh boy, do I look like Lenny. The thing is, Lenny sort of looks like he's 120. If you happen to be watching this, Lenny, I'm sorry. Just being honest with you. Christiana said, I'm trying to go back and forth here. I'm Sans producer right now. Christiana says, we're just sharing, loving, and connecting. I really love this channel. It helped me a lot with not so good stuff in my life. You know what's really funny? I was talking to my brother, and I said to him once, it's a strange thing. I've had people say to me, look, I have over 600,000 comments on my channel. It's unbelievable. And I've had people hundreds and hundreds of times I've said, you got me through a hard time. And I remember talking with Tommy once, and I said, I don't understand that. He goes, you're an idiot. He goes, when we were young, he goes, we had a Fonzie, or we had somebody that we were watching. We were going through a tough time, and we weren't realizing that they were helping, but they were helping. It's the same sort of thing. There's just no Fonzie anymore. Kind of interesting. It's a beautiful thing that we all find here, right? You know, the thing we all have in common, in addition to the whole addiction thing. Here's the funny thing: there are people here that don't have an addiction. We all still have one thing in common. Whether you have an active addiction or a past addiction or a recovered, whatever. If you're here listening, if you hear my voice, we all have something in common. That is, we're all broken. If you're not broken, please say something, because I think we're all broken. Lord Kiss Freak, you gotta stop saying that, dude. Thank you for saying that. Here's the thing. They were on the show. I say on the show, I was addicted to everything, and I think capsaicin helps. But you got to understand. Do you remember if you watch Super Hot at all? There's a couple scenes where I'm sitting in a chair. Do you know that each of those, there's two different times where I'm sitting in a chair. You can tell one's darker, one's a little bit lighter. Two different times. Both times were 5-hour interviews. I mean, sit down and 5 hours went by. The first time it happened, we're 3 hours deep and they're asking me questions. And I'm like, dude, this is the read technique. I'm not stupid. I've done the deep dive with interrogations. What do you want to know? I'll tell you. It was crazy. There was so much information about me that didn't make it on. Oh, that bummed me out, but it was still pretty crazy. Nicole, I realized about lying hurting when I was a teenager. I can lie, but even little ones I pay for, so don't bother. You know what? It's tough. It's tough. I'd hit with that one by accident. By the way, JD, followed by Tim. Like they go. I did that one by accident. Here's the thing about lying. When I was a kid, nobody lied more than I did. Honestly, but it's so confusing. You know what? Life gets so confusing that it's so much easier to tell the truth. Honest to goodness. But Miss Dragon says, "I'm so broken, I'll never be the same." If you want to exit, please get help. I hear that. You know, here's the thing. Everybody on the planet, here's the funny thing. We're all in the same thing together. We're all on the boat together, right? So we're all in this journey that nobody asked for. I didn't ask for it. I didn't meet with anybody and say, yeah, you know what, set me on this journey where I'm going to have highs that are going to be so great and lows where I'm going to want to kill myself. Yeah, hook me up with that. Did you ask for that? I didn't, right? And nobody got a handbook, the right handbook. And we're all broken and screwed up. But, what we all have in common is that we all recognize that. You know what I mean? And I think we love our family because we're their family. But I think we love each other because of our brokenness. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Yeah, I think we love family. They're a family you don't get along with sometimes, but you love them no matter what. But here we love people, and it's because of the brokenness. Oh, we got Spanx working out. Spanx, thank you. I had dog sledding. I did a rod eating peppers. There you go. My other's keeper says, thank you, Spanx. We got Spanx in the house. Appreciate the assistance. So we've got my other keeper suggesting that an idea would be a dog sledding Iditarod while eating pods. You know what I'm going to do? I do have some pods right now, and I'm going to do a long, like a 40-minute ride on a bike while eating super hots. So that's something I plan on doing. Ice Autumn says, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. My dad said that. Do you want to know something? Mark Twain. Papa Scova said that. I'm kidding, Ice Autumn. But my dad, when I was a little kid, my dad said that. And he didn't say to me, when he told Tommy and I that, he didn't say to me, listen, if you never tell a lie, you'll never have to remember what you told somebody. Said Mark Twain. He just said, you have to think of a lie. You just spit out the truth. So, and man, I'll tell you what, here's the worst thing about growing up and having kids. When I had kids, I remember when this hit me. My kids would lie to me. We're at the point now where they don't. But for a long time, if my kids would lie to me, I would know they would lie. And my dad he knew when I was lying. So hang on one second. Hang on one second. Oh, I think somebody took care of that. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, somebody did take care of that. It's a good thing you did, boy, because I was so gone. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. The liar's loop. Hold on. Liar's loop is a real thing, and it's actually stressful for us, which is why it's detectable when people lie. Yeah, here's the deal. It's like I remember, like when my kids would lie to me, I would look at them and say, I remember the day going, "Oh my God." Every time I looked at my dad and said, "I swear to God, Dad, he's not stupid. He knew and loved me in spite of all that." I'll tell you something. I was talking to my mom today. Lord Kiss Freak says Papa Scoble was a wise man. I'm glad I got to see him in your videos. I want to tell you something. I was talking to Mama Scoville today, and I said, if I increase, 100-fold, I won't be a tenth of the man that my dad was. And if I get that far, I'll be a hell of a guy. I want you to know that. Boy, I got to tell you something. My brother and I and my sisters, if you want to talk about hitting pulling the handle and just hitting the lottery and just like everything lining up with my dad, holy crap. You have no idea. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Christiana says to Miss Dragon, I thought of off myself for a year, but I'm still going. You will weather this storm. You're not alone. But here's the thing. I came that close. I don't know if I think I might have told the story, and I'm not going to tell it now. I came that close once, and I'm not joking. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't for effect. It's not to try to make someone feel better, but I was that close. And the way I was choosing at the time wasn't going to be hey, he may have done it, he may have not. It was going to be a wicked final, just like that. It was that close. And I remember that was the first time I'd ever heard somebody say, I didn't. It wasn't why I didn't. After I didn't, I heard the phrase a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So I made the decision then, after I heard that phrase, and I didn't do it. And I don't want to get this thing demonetized and talk about it. I'll do it some other time. Maybe I'll do it on the Rumble or on Tommy's channel or something. But I always decide if I ever got that bad, I'd move to a different city and say, hey, I'm Tony, or my name is Philip. Or you can call me Mark. I'd start over. I'd get a job at the docks, unloading trucks or something. The funny thing is, life it's such a journey. I'll tell you, I said this the other day. I was on a bike ride. Most people don't even work hard enough to recognize that they have a second wind. And I don't mean to judge anybody, but we all have a second wind. And too many of us stop before we even realize, crap, man, I got a second wind in me. And I'm not judging. This is a me thing. I swear I'm not talking about you, but so many times in my life, I've given up before the second wind kicked in. And that's a problem. You know what I mean? Lord Kiss Freak, John and I made a video in honor of you. Sure did. I'll tell you what, that was one of those videos that's going to make me cry. You know, it was amazing. In the first, I talked to Brian a lot. Brian was the producer of Super Hot. He watched, obviously, he watched the Netflix special. He interviewed me a ton. He watched a lot of my videos. And if you saw that, 3 different times they put clips of my dad and I meeting, like eating peppers and eating stuff together, which was, he knew my dad was already gone. That was such a tribute. Oh, do I love that man for that. That was such a good thing that he did for me. Anywho, I want you guys to know something. Please forgive me for all of the comments I've missed. I've missed a million, and I apologize for that. I'm missing people that need prayers and catch them on the halfway and then going back. It's weird when you're scripting. Sorry, I'm so sorry for you, what you guys are all going through, but that's why we're coming here to understand. This is kind of like church without an altar, without pews, without a higher power. We're just all a bunch of broken people sitting here talking and connecting. We all believe in different things. We're all broken from different things, but somehow here, suffering together all makes it a little bit better, does it not? I love you all so much, says ZW, member for 13 months. Light and prayers to all. Thank you, ZW. JD says, Johnny, I think you may have lost it. Spanx, can you find that? JD said, Johnny, I think you may have a sputtery connection or a microphone. Did anyone notice it? Or is it on my end? Give me a 5x5, folks, if you can do that. Spanx is saying it is our connection. In the process of fixing it. You know what's really bizarre? I don't know if it's this computer, like literally like this laptop. I never 3x5 from ANG. I never have problems on mine, my tone from mine. I'm not using my computer right now. I'm using Tommy's. I'm sorry if I'm sputtering. You want to hear a funny sputtering story? This is hilarious. I don't know if I should tell this story. Oh, I'm going to tell this story. This is a million years ago. Tommy and I were working for a company, and they were selling the first microphones that you could slap on a TV and just or you could hand hold it or something, or through a computer. And this is like in this is before 2000. And it was like a video. You'd hold a video up and you could kind of see video. It was the first time you could video chat. It was like a freak show. And my brother and I had them, and we were selling them. And I went out. I was my brother was in Utah. I was at home, and I went out with this dude that I had just kind of met, and I was talking about this cool thing. And we were at a bar. I was talking about it, and he's telling me, I said, I got this camera. You can see video. You can do video chat. I can like video with my brother. He's like, yeah, whatever. I said, come on, I'll take you back and show you. So I went back to my place, and we're in my house. And I was married, but I don't know where my wife was at the time because she wasn't there. And it's just me and this dude. And I'm trying to connect with my brother. And I connected with my brother, but it was shoddy. And I mean, if you think a 3x5, I'm talking 1x1. You see like this, and then like that, and then like this. And this guy is giving me a hard time. He goes, I can't, it's terrible. This is horrible. He's being a real wise guy with me. And I'm saying, hey, anyway, I'm better now. I promise you. Tommy says I have a short fuse, and I'm the first one that's going to take a swing soon. I'm better now, but then I wasn't. And he was in my kitchen or in my living room, bad-mouthing this product. So he and I get into a fight in my living room. But my brother's in a different state, and all he sees is this. Like me swinging him, me grabbing him, him taking a swing, still shots of him taking a swing at me choking him, me getting hit in the face, me punching him in the face. And it was just these still shots for like 5 minutes of me and this guy duking it out in my living room. It's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. There's nothing funny in that. And I'm sorry that we're having trouble with the 5x5. Question, Johnny, how can I send you a photo of my Carolina Reaper bowl? Email me at Chase the Heat. If anybody wants to email me at chasetheheat@gmail.com. I'm going to tell you a little secret. You want to hear this? People will hate that I say this. If you ever want to email a YouTuber, their email, unless they change it, their email is their YouTube name plus Gmail. YouTube's owned by Google. So chasetheheat@gmail.com. And if you've never subscribed there, go over and subscribe there. It's fun. I promise you. It's not boring. Also, if you haven't seen Super Hot yet, you got to see that. It's a hoot. Here's the thing about Super Hot. This is important to know. People are like, well, Johnny's eating hotter. This is the truth. I ate 3 peppers hotter than anything I ate, or excuse me, One of the peppers, the hottest pepper that I ate, didn't even have enough powder to get tested in season 1, which was the Omega Pod. The Omega Pod, the Louisiana Creeper, and a chocolate primatali are way hotter than anything else out there. But all of those pods I really ate after the show happened. So, which is one of the reasons season 2 could be trippy. Chili Phil binge watched the show twice. Do you want to hear something terrible? A horrible. I shouldn't even admit this. I'll get yelled at. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I haven't even watched the whole thing yet. I've watched parts of it. I have a hard time watching me. I don't like it. I've watched probably 4 or 5 episodes. Isn't that crazy? I was there. I remember what I said. You know what I mean? Not quite sure how they put it all together, but it's tough to watch. Like the first episode, they said some things. I'm like, oh, did you hear what they just said about me? And it's all very, very complimentary, but it's like over the top. I think they called me like the Chili Kingmaker. Had they called me Chili Kingmaker once, that's a lot. They called me that. Like Spanx is funny. He goes, yeah, they called you 41 times. Even Spanx knows they were working it too much. Yeah, Kelly Visor says, I hate watching or hearing myself. I hate it. Listen, I was a little boy. I remember this wicked clearly. Mama Scoville, I was a kid. It was the same day. I was a little boy. It was the same day I first heard the Beatles. I remember it. It was unbelievable. I remember hearing it. Just my life changed. Hearing the Beatles, my life changed. But we had this little voice recorder, this little, had a microphone. It looked like shaped like a little microphone. And she let me speak into it. And you're a kid. You remember it, and you're a kid. Now we're all older. We've heard it, right? We've all heard our voice. And I said something, and she played it back. And I was like, and I realized it was me. And it was the most, I remember how horrific it was. Like, it was horrible. Here's why that is. When we speak, we're not just talking. We're feeling and hearing and vibrating. Everything is happening inside us. So we're feeling it. It's so multidimensional. It's not funny. It's in your bone structure, your vibration, your head. You're feeling it and hearing it and everything. When you're hearing it on a tape, it's linear. That's gone. You're just hearing it. You're not feeling squat. And it's like, holy crap, I sound like that. I've made 5,211 videos, I think. And the only ones I watch are the ones where I'm abusing Tommy. Or somebody else. And by abuse, listen, they're into it. I don't like watching people get hurt, but this is it's a little different. Like, I don't like watching skateboard. Like, you see the shows like where somebody skateboards, they break an ankle and everybody laughs, or they fall down the stairs. And that's not funny to me. I don't find those things funny at all. I don't like shows like that. Anyway, got a question here. Thank you, Spanx. Johnny, what surprised you most about filming Super Hot? Wow, what a great question. How it went from I'm working 2 days to I'm working 34 days. That was pretty surprising. That was super surprising how it snowballed and became, I became just a dude that was going to be there for 2 days that was surprising. You know what, Brian, the producer, is a genius. Let me tell you something that he's really just amazing at. He's amazing at getting a lot done quickly. You have to understand, it costs a fortune to make a season like that. Like, every day, it's like 18 grand, 20 grand a day. Just a day. Every single day, you're just stroking checks. It costs you a fortune. So we're banging that thing out as fast as possible. We had a Christmas, Thanksgiving, and a New Year all while we're filming, and still shot this thing in 56 days of filming. All right, so we had some more extra days because of the holidays, but we shot an entire season in 50. I can't remember if it's 54 or 56, but mid-50s tops. So that was kind of surprising. But the Scoville Brothers versus Stroming, taking one for the team, is a priceless video. You know what? Thank you for saying that. That was fun. It's really fun if you watch that. all the videos that I've done with Tommy, in a lot of them, we end up losing it. It just sort of we end up chucking. And when I'm sick, when I'm barfing, like he's mad at me when he has to do it. He's angry and furious, and I'm giggling like I'm a 7-year-old kid, just howling with laughter. And then he's furious. And then when it's my turn, all of a sudden I'm angry and he's acting like it's the funniest thing in the whole world. And it's, I could make a video with this bottle of aspirin and I'd have chemistry with it. I could make this aspirin look good. But Tommy's a guy that's just so easy to shoot with, and he's so much fun, and he's just a and I can watch him. It's fun. But I tell you something, the last time he had calf cramps, I'm not joking you, it was horrible. It was awful. I felt so terrible. Here we go. We got a question here. What is this Pepper X I hear about? Please do tell, asks Heather. Boy, let's talk about something wicked, controversial. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Here's how it is. Are you ready? I need a, you know what I need? I need a dry erase board. Pretend I have a dry erase board. Pretend it's here, okay? In the pepper world, you have colored peppers. Peppers come in different colors. Here's how it goes as far as heat. Hang on a minute. Yeah, this will actually work. Here's how it goes with heat. All right. Can you see this? The hottest chocolate, God almighty, it figures I grab a pen that doesn't work. What a shame. What a bloody shame. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? There's not a pen anywhere here. Wow. Hang on one second, because I'm gonna go off here. Give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Thank you. I don't need a coffee. I need a Sharpie. If you got a black Sharpie. A Sharpie. If you don't have a black Sharpie, this will work. Okay. However, this is fine. Thank you. Here's how this works. Chocolate, red, green, mustard, orange, yellow, peach. Peach is probably there actually, and white. These are the colors of peppers. You can't see them, but it's chocolate. There's red, there's green, there's mustard. Sometimes red and chocolate will toggle back and forth. For instance, we're going to talk right now, okay, about a 7-pot primo. Now, I want you to know, this goes through for any pepper. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. So I'm not going to pick on anything. I'm going to talk about a 7-pot primo. Chocolate pod and red pod will toggle back and forth. Every once in a while, I eat a chocolate pod that's hotter than a red pod I've had. Every once in a while, I eat a red pod that's hotter than a chocolate. But these are the hottest colors. Green is never, you guys listen to me? It's not as hot as red or chocolate. Just isn't. Mustard and green will toggle back and forth. Sometimes the mustard's hotter, sometimes the green's hotter. Okay, I've eaten a hotter mustard. The hottest mustard I've had is hot. 7-pot was hotter than the hottest chocolate mustard I've ever had. Or chocolate primo. Said nobody. It's never happened. There's no such thing as a mustard pod like of a 7-pot that's going to be hotter than the hottest chocolate pod of the same strain. It doesn't work that way. So they've come out with a pod that is mustard. It's green in color. And they're saying it's 2.69 million Scoville. Now, before this year, no mustard pod had ever tested over 1 million. Okay? No mustard pod had ever tested over 1 million. Now, the previous record was 1.5 million. So we're to believe now that a mustard pod's come along, and not only is it over 1 million, it's 1 million hotter than the last one when no one before had ever tested over 1 million. That's one problem. That's one problem. It's 2.69 million Scoville he uses. The second he gets it, the second I'm not going to pick on a person by name, the second they get it a lab that says, hey, it's 2.69 million. They go to Guinness. Guinness says it's the hottest pepper. Then this person says, I'm not selling it though. You can't buy the seeds. You're never going to be able to grow it. So I'm not selling the peppers. Now, for 5 years, he told the entire chili world you can. He told me personally I was going to eat one. And if he says he didn't, he's lying. How about that? He did. He said I was going to eat one. He lied to me. So nobody's ever going to eat one. And he said recently, I'm not selling the powder either. Now, why? Let's think about this for just a second, can we? Why would somebody come out with a pepper that's the hottest and not want anybody to be able to grow it or get the powder of it? Now, he does say, oh, you can eat it, but you're going to have to eat it in a sauce. For instance, this sauce. Here it is. It's in the sauce. Now, I have to tell you something. Pepper X is green. 91% of this sauce says right there, over 91% is Pepper X. You guys see that? Pepper X is green. Why the hell is that sauce red? Can somebody explain that to me? That's a problem. It's not a problem for me. I didn't make this sauce. If they didn't say over 91%, this is a non-issue. Nobody's bitching. Nobody's got a word to say. Nobody's upset. Something's funky about this. I had it shipped off. This is supposed to be 2.39, between 2.39 and 2.45 million Scoville heat units. It was 69,000. Think about that. 2.3% as hot as it's supposed to. That's like you borrowing $100 from me and I go to pay you back and I give you $2.70 and say we're square. How happy are you going to be? You going to be okay with that? That's what happens. And it's not super thick. 98%. And the other weird thing about this, I'm telling you, I drank a whole bottle of it. There's a spice in here. There's something spice in here. I'm not sure what it is. It says there's nothing but pepper in this. Pepper X powder, Pepper X distillate, and vinegar. That's it. I'm telling you, there's some, I don't know if it's cumin, if it's thyme, there's something in it that's not pepper. Ask that question. Ooh, they get so mad at you. Say, if it's 91% mustard pod, why is it green? Or why is it red? They get mad at you. Kind of crazy, isn't it? I'm glad I'm not them. Tell you what. No joke. So, Pepper X. Listen, I don't believe Pepper X is real. And I don't care who has a problem with it. If they'd said Pepper X was a chocolate pod and I'm not selling the seeds and I'm not selling the powder, I'd still have a problem with it. But I'd be more likely to buy it. I'm telling you right now, no chili head that's in the know believes it. Like mustard, a mustard pod, 2.69. Okay. Remember Brother Scoville's Electric? BSE? Go watch that video. We got a car in our garage right here. It's faster than any car ever created. 0 to 60 in 1/4 mile. Nobody's seen it. Nobody's driven it but me and Tommy. Trust me, we got it. That's Pepper X. Sorry, I don't care who that offends. That's Pepper X. Wow, you think I pissed off enough people tonight? What does the ingredient look like? The first ingredient listed, Pepper X. Since you asked, I'm going to be a real jerk about this. Sorry. It is what it is. Here's the empty one I drank. See that water level? That represents about 91% of 5 ounces. This is the bottle that I got tested. I chugged this whole bottle. Can we all agree this full goes to about there? So to about there. Would you say that this represents pretty close to 91%? 91% of 5 ounces is 4.5 ounces. That means there's only a 1/2 ounce missing. It says right here that over 91% of this sauce is Pepper X. Pepper X is 2.69 million. I don't give a damn what you put in this from here to here. There isn't a substance on the planet that you can put into a 2.69 million Scoville chunk this big and much that's going to dilute it down to 61. Period. So one of two things is a lie. Are you ready? Either that's a lie or 2.69 million is a lie. Now we can buy this and eat it, but we can't touch the pepper. Which one do you think is the lie? Here's what scares me, and here's what people need to be scared about. It says, first we feast right there. It says, hot ones right there. Thank Jesus Christ. It doesn't say Johnny Scoville right here. Sorry. I'm glad I'm nothing to do with this. I'll tell you that. This smells bad. Now, I said plenty. This is going to get more attention than I need it to get. I'm sorry. You asked. Oh, you asked the ingredient list. Damn, I forgot. Let me finish with, sorry about that. I got on a roll. I'm going to finish with the ingredient list. I'm going to get off and fortify the building. Get my weapons ready. Here's the list of actual ingredients. Are you ready? Number one ingredient. Pay attention. Pepper X peppers. Number one. Pepper X peppers. Number two, distilled vinegar. Number three, Pepper X pepper powder. List number four is Pepper X distillate. Let me explain to you what distillate is. Distillate is a concentrated version of Pepper X, which means distillate is hotter than the 2.69. So when I say that this is 2.69, I'm giving him a break because he's telling us on the label that there's extract in it. And I'm still saying it's only 2.69. The whole thing is 2.69. You add to it extract, it's hotter than 2.69. This sauce can't be lower than 2.39, and it's 69,000. I'm telling you what, he needs a PR firm. More, I can't tell you how badly they need a PR firm. I'm not joking you a bit. I'm done. This has gone off the rails. Tommy, I'm sorry, dude. Listen, I love you guys a lot. I tell the truth. Here's the deal. I tell the truth. If people have a problem with that, they can stop watching Chase the Heat. If you love the truth, you might want to go over to Chase the Heat and sign and click the subscribe button. I'll never lie to you, and I promise you won't be bored. I'm going to split now. I thank all of you guys for joining. Thank you, everybody that's here. Please forgive me for the that was a rant, wasn't it? I think that pretty much was a rant. Forgive the rant. You know who shouldn't forgive me? The ones who are the guilty. I love you guys. Have a good night. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was The Lifeboat.